Welcome to The Conversation with Corinthus Alston. Brought to you by CKJ Live. Bringing you real-life topics and real-life stories. Discussing subjects that matter to you. This is your invitation to listen, laugh, love, loathe, and link up. That's right. Tell us what's on your mind. Now let's get to the conversation.
Welcome to The Conversation. Without the conversation, we can't have the understanding. On this episode of The Conversation, I want to talk to you about why financial literacy is so important. The average person retires between the ages of 62 and 65 years old in the United States, and the income that they are receiving from their jobs stops. It just stops. So now they have to live off the money they saved, their pension plan, their 401k, or a Social Security check given to them by the government. In some cases, though, there are those individuals who have alternative income streams from owning property, having a business on the side, or financial investments that will help them live in their retirement years. Now, there are professionals that specialize in managing other people's money. I said managing other people's money, which assumes you have money for them to manage. All right. It assumes that you have money for them to manage, and they would love to manage your money for a fee. All right. That's not free, but they will manage your money for a fee with no problem if you got the money. But it seems that the ability for individuals to manage their own money is just challenging. It's challenging. Heck, I know for me, it was challenging when I had to figure out, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm finally making some decent money, how to actually manage it. Because you think, wow, this money's going to last forever, but it doesn't. For some people, getting out of debt seems to be impossible, let alone putting money to a side to invest in real estate or stock. Heck, there are people living paycheck to paycheck. I've been there too. All right. I've been there too. But that doesn't mean you can't get out of debt. Yes, it may take some time. Yes, you might have to sacrifice. And yes, once you do get out of debt, you will have the ability to put money aside and to invest. A recent survey showed that 52% of adults in the United States are financially literate. Now, financial literacy is not something you're born with, but it is a skill like riding a bike or learning how to read. But we all can learn how to do it. We just have to commit and put in the time and the effort. Now, you would think the skill would be taught in schools, but it's not. Schools need to educate our children on financial literacy as early as possible. They need to learn about a credit card, a debit card, and what's the difference between the two. They need to know about renting and mortgages, and what's the difference between having, paying a landlord and owning a house. They need to understand about savings accounts, checking accounts, and how to invest. Now, we can't blame our parents for not teaching us about financial literacy because they taught us what they knew. And if no one showed them about financial literacy, how can they show us? But for those of us who have taken the time to learn about financial literacy, we have a responsibility of teaching our children about financial literacy. All right. Now, what is financial literacy? I know I keep saying financial literacy, but let's go here and break this down. What is financial literacy? Financial literacy is the ability to understand and apply different financial skills, such as investing, budgeting, personal, managing your personal finances. In other words, it involves you being able to manage your money and make financial decisions that allow you to get ahead and not behind. Again, allow you to get ahead and not behind. When you understand financial literacy, you know how to calculate taxes, You know how to manage your credit card debt. You know how to calculate interest rates when you're buying a house. All right. This is very important, even when it comes down to getting life insurance and the value of money. Oh my God. Now, it took me a minute to understand the value of money because we are not taught about the value of money. We taught about how to spend money, but not about the value of money. Now, I'm not saying you have to go back to school and get 3 PhDs and do all the other stuff. You could actually go on Google, all right, and type in financial literacy, and it will tell you. You can watch something on YouTube and at least get a basic understanding of the concepts of financial literacy. You might think, why is financial literacy so important, and why did I take the time out during this podcast? So let's talk about it. I'm going to give you an example. Now let's look at an example. All right. Let's use Victor. Victor is an engineer. He earns $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year. But after taxes, he's really only bringing home about $65,000. Right, a year. That's really what Victor is bringing home. Now, he spends $8,200 in rent a year. I know you're like, wait a minute. No, that's $1,500 a month. Then he turns around and spends another $12,000 a year paying on his student loan. That's $1,000 a month. He owes $150,000 in student loans. All right. They got to get around town. All right. So that's another $9,000 a year in transportation costs. Let's break that down. About $750. So he might have a $400 car note, but you still got to get gas, insurance, all that other. So, that's $750. Then that's $750. Now, you still got to eat. We haven't said nothing about eating. All right. So Victor spends $8,000 eating a year. Now I know you like, now you're like, okay, you really stretched it now, but no, that's about $650. So let's say he's spending $300 just on food. All right. Bringing that to the house. Now that other $300, remember, he's going out to eat. You go to McDonald's a couple of times, you can easily blow $75 in a week. And don't talk about coffee. I mean, I like coffee. I like Starbucks. I mean, you do $5 a day. $5 is $25 a week. $25 for 4 weeks. Boom, that's $100. So it's easy. And we haven't talked about Victor going out on a date. Okay, so that's $650 gone. All right, for the month. That's gone. All right. Now, Victor got to keep himself groomed up. All right. You got to keep himself groomed up. So he's going to spend about $100. He going to spend $100. So he's buying razor blades, whatever, going to get his hair cut, groomed up, beard, hair products, all this other stuff. That's $100. And he spends $1,000 a month paying on credit card debt. All right. So that's $12,000 a year that he's spending on credit card debt, and he has $50,000 in credit card debt. So when you just look at this, right, he has $150,000 in student loans and $50,000 in credit card debt. Now remember, we're gonna break it down. Remember, he makes $100,000 after taxes because Uncle Sam got to get his. Uncle Sam got to get his. That's $65,000. Okay, and his monthly expenses. All right. Now, again, we haven't said nothing extra yet. $1,500 for rent, $1,000 for that student loan repayment, $750 for car and transportation needs, $650 on food, $100 just trying to keep himself looking good, $1,000 on credit card debt. Now, this leaves Victor basically out of that $65,000, $4,600 or $380. That's for extras. He got a solid $380 for extras or for any unforeseen situation. Now remember, we haven't talked about miscellaneous. He hasn't went to Vegas. He haven't hung out with his boys. None of that. Okay, so he has a hot $380, right? So if you notice, I didn't say savings. I didn't say anything about investing. Nothing about retirement. But this is how Victor is living. And this is how a lot of us are living. And it's really just him trying to figure out, okay, you know what? Things are working. It's cool. And this month I may have to shave something on this, on that. But you know you got to pay that rent because you got to have somewhere to stay. So, you know, but it's really trying to figure out how does he drive down that credit card debt and how does he drive down that student loan? And how does he sort of kind of make some of these other things adjusted so he does have more than $380 a month for in case of an emergency or for any type of incidentals that unforeseen things that might happen. Now, I was a victim once. Yep, I was a victim once. And it took me until my late 30s to really understand financial literacy and why it is so important. And now I want to express to you why it is so important. Financial literacy doesn't care about how much money you make. So let's get that misnomer. Most people think, oh, you got to make $200, $300. It doesn't care about how much money you make, but rather how you manage what you got. See, how you manage the money that you have. So you could be financially sound in case of emergency as well as for the future. All right. So again, it doesn't look at how much money you bringing in, but it really cares about how you managing the money that you got. All right. At the end of the day. Now, did you know most people don't take advantage of some of the tax benefits that can help them save money as well as lower their tax bill? Now, again, remember we say financial literacy. It's just not knowing just, oh yeah, I can budget. No, it needs to know you learn about taxes. You learn about all of these little things that can help you out. You know, companies have something called 401k. They have these pension things. Now, here's the thing, and you know, we've all heard of the IRA or the individual retirement account, all right, that anyone can set up. Anyone can set up one of these. Now, here is something that most people didn't know, all right? Here's something most people know. Most people don't understand that the money you put in both of these programs reduces the amount of money you pay in taxes. Yes, it reduces the amount of money that you pay in taxes. Now, the 401k, here's the thing. Most companies will match you up to 3%. So if you put in 3%, they're going to put in 3%. That's free money, right? That is free money that you're getting, right? So financial literacy is important because it's more than just understanding a couple of, I got this much money and here's what I'm going to do with it. No, it allows you to understand, oh my God, I have this credit card that's at 29% interest, and I have this other credit card that's at 15% interest. Well, you know what? I need to pay off this 29% interest credit card that will then allow me to have more money to pay down my other credit cards. Again, it's a whole cycle that you need to sort of kind of understand. Now, another reason why people think financial literacy is complex is because it's not sexy. I'm just going to say it. It's not sexy. It's boring. It is. It's boring. And people don't want to spend the time to really understand it. They want people to tell them how to manage their money instead of them understanding how to manage their money. So again, it's that whole thing. We need to understand. We need to understand that without, without learning how to save, without learning how to manage our credit scores, without learning how to put money to the side, it becomes difficult for us to retire at 62 and 65. You have people working to 80, 85, because you know what? They have to, because they can't afford to live. And what financial literacy does is put the control back into your hands and not in other hands. It is very important for everyone to have an idea of what financial literacy is, rich or poor. Doesn't matter. Managing money and credit are critical skills that enable every person to have a fulfilled life before they retire and during retirement. Well, hey, I'm going to actually be having some guests on that we're going to dive real deep in this. We're going to dive real deep into financial literacy and tell you about some of the programs that are out there. But until then, come on, Pack. Thank you for listening to the show. And remember, without the conversation, we can't have the understanding. Talk to you later.
Thank you for being a part of the conversation with Corinthus Alston. Brought to you by CKJ Live. Come back and visit us again to hear more real life topics and stories that matter to you. And remember, without the conversation, we can't have the understanding.